Good morning. My father knew the exact time of the exact day of the exact year that he would die. Wow, what an evolved soul. How did it come to him? The judge told him. A lawyer and an engineer were fishing in the Caribbean. The lawyer said, I'm here because my house burned down and everything I owned was destroyed by the fire. The insurance company paid for everything. That's quite a coincidence, said the engineer. I'm here because my house and all my belongings were destroyed by a flood, and my insurance company also paid for everything. And in a puzzled manner, the lawyer asked, how do you start a flood? An old legend says that when the Lord created the world, he made men and all the animals to live 40 years. The horse 40 years, the dog 40 years, and the monkey 40 years. But man was dissatisfied. He complained that this is not enough time for man to live. So the horse volunteered 10 years of his life to go to the man's life. Then the dog said, I'll give him 10 years of mine too. Finally, the monkey said, I'll be a good sport. He can have 10 years of mine also. So that's the way it is. Man lives his regular 40 years, and the next 10 years he works like a horse. The next 10 he leads a dog's life, and the next 10 he just monkeys around. Some Canadians were traveling by tour bus through Holland. They stopped at a cheese farm where a young guide led them through the process of cheese making, explaining that goat's milk was used. She showed the group a hillside on which many goats were grazing. These, she explained, are the older goats put out to pasture when they no longer produce. She then asked, what do you do in Canada with your old goats? A sprightly old gentleman answered, they send us on bus tours. An elderly patient has been in the hospital for quite some time. He is really becoming frustrated with the care he is receiving, and he lets his doctor know it the very next time he comes by to check on him. Look here, doc, you've already removed my spleen, gallbladder, tonsils, adenoids, an ingrown toenail, and one of my kidneys. I insist you get me out of this place. To which the doctor replied, well, I am, bit by bit. The couple had reached an age where the wife thought it was time to start considering wills and funeral arrangements rather than be caught unprepared. Her husband, however, wasn't too interested in the topic. Would you rather be buried or cremated? She asked him. There was a pause. Then he replied from behind the paper, surprise me. Two men are hiking in the woods when one of them is bitten on the rump by a rattlesnake. Wait here, said his friend. I'll go into town to get a doctor. He runs 10 miles into town and into the doctor's office. Quick, doc, my friend has been bitten on the ass by a rattlesnake. You've got to help. I can't leave, says the doctor. I've got to deliver a baby. But I'll tell you what to do. Take a knife, cut a little X in each of the puncture wounds, then suck the blood out, suck the poison out, and spit it on the ground until it's all gone. That should do it. The man runs 10 miles back to his friend, who is writhing in pain. Well, he says, what did the doctor say? He says you're going to die. Gottfried the Great was finally booked on The Tonight Show. It was an unusual act. From his pocket, Gottfried took out a tiny, perfectly formed human being, dressed in a tuxedo, who sat at a miniature grand piano and played Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. Carson's people were wild about the act, and one of them asked Gottfried where he found the little man. "I was in an antique store in Venice," he said, "and I came across a marvelous old lamp. I brought it home, started to polish it, and suddenly a genie popped out and granted me a wish." "And you asked for a 12-inch pianist?" "Not exactly." Until next time, bye-bye.